final segment of the show. We call this Inside the Same Brain, where we talk about something that's on the brother's mind. Kendrick Stubblefield, I got a text from you a couple of days ago, man. I want to say it might have
Yeah.
been on the 4th, man. Something like that.
Was it a? It might have been a glaucoma-induced text.
I think you texted me late as hell too, bro. I think if I ain't mistaken too. I think it was like 10 o'clock or something like that. I was like, "What's up, my guy, mind, man?" So you started getting your shit off, and you basically said you had questions about sinners because hey, this man put it down. I was trying to softball you, bro. But hell, the man said he thinks sinners is overrated.
That's the question. Is Sinners overrated?
No.
You have been talking about how this is the perfect movie.
That movie's freaking perfect, bro. That's one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. I don't rewatch movies often at all.
Right.
There aren't many modern era movies that I rewatch like at all. And I'm a big Marvel fan all the time. I don't watch that shit more than twice. Endgame. What was the other one? I don't watch that shit more. I don't watch that.
You didn't watch Endgame more than once?
No, watch none of that shit more than once. No,
that movie.
None of that shit more than once. Black Panther, I might have seen twice. Blade, I've seen Blade over and over again.
Yeah,
I do watch this shit over and over again. I'll watch this.
Is there a movie that comes on that you're like this? I watched it if it's on TV.
Life.
Easy
answer. Life. Yeah,
100%.
Life. Come on right now, watching this shit right now.
Yeah,
and I'm a word for word that whole like for real. Yeah.
I'm the pappy.
So I guess I'll explain why I like it so much, and then you tell me issues you had, and then we'll. No, tell me what you thought about it. And
I'll just say this off the rip. One of the most beautifully shot movies.
100%. Yeah.
Dude, their DP, whoever the DP is.
Let me stop you. If you've only seen Sinners on some bootleg ass version, fuck out of here. Cause that shit, I watched that shit in my brother's house. That shit ain't the same. Like that shit ain't the same, bro. Like I'm telling you,
I saw it on this.
Man, that's how you saw that shit. You didn't even watch it on a full TV.
Nah.
Fuck out of here, bro. All right, come on, man. How had you got HBO Max, bro?
I just was I was laying down, bro. I don't know what to tell you.
All right, okay, but go ahead, bro. This man watched the shit on a 3-inch screen.
I had really good headphones in, so I could hear everything.
I understand what you're saying. All right, go ahead. All right, come on. And you were hiding them of it, but go ahead.
Okay, that's a good point. Super, I mean, just unbelievably shot, beautifully shot movie. The director of photography, Ryan Coogler, who the producer or the director, phenomenal. My question to you is this: like, do you ever feel like that sometimes, like, they're just doing just a bit too much with the storyline? Like, just too many things they're trying to fit in and pack into one movie to like make it seem deeper than what it is, but it's not. Like, they don't do a good job of like telling why okay, help me understand the scene when they brought in because if I don't even know if Preacher Boy's voice was real. If that bro,
hey, let me say this. The hype behind that dude is kind of crud. Cause I'm like, bro, that dude singing or talking voice ain't tight to me.
That's
like,
not his. You didn't like his singing voice?
That's him, but folks was like, oh, dude, cold. Like, he just sound weird, bro. Like, it don't sound good to me. Like, I will say that dude, like, I would not go listen to that dude's music. Like, nothing that he did.
Are you crazy?
In that film makes you want to go listen to his music. No,
Preacher Boy can sing, man. That man can sing. If that's his.
He sounded like if Sain started singing. Like, Sain, who want to fuck with us? But just the us's.
Like, I just wish they had stuck with. They started the movie off talking about music being like these certain people gifted with music that like transcends like everything, like telling stories. But then they bring it. So then Preacher Boy's a part of it. They bring him in and he's got the guitar and he's holding this guitar and it's this extra special guitar and nobody knows where the guitar came from. And then they has the scene in there, which was just a dope scene, I think, with like him starting to
music
sing,
history,
the music history. But then they started bringing
Black music history, which is also synonymous with music history. Anyway, go
right.
I'm not gonna pull hairs. I'm not gonna whatever they say.
Split hairs. Here,
I ain't gonna split hairs over there. All right, go ahead.
But what was the point of that? Like, what it didn't like. It was like Ryan Coogler had this idea of like, I want to tell like this music back in the day with during Jim Crow era was just like it told stories and like all this, but then it's like Preacher Boy had that moment. They brought in all these like they had like the silhouettes of all these, and you could tell who the artists were as they were bringing them out. Like they had this random electric guitar player up there, like that.
Supposed to be like Jimi Hendrix.
And then it just dropped. Like they didn't talk about it the rest of the time. Right? Like what was the point of it? Like it just felt like it was like
That's a layup, kid. That's easy to explain.
Ryan Coogler threw a bunch of stuff at the wall and said, "Let me see what's going to stick, and let me just kind of bring all this together, and then let it drop."
But he also admitted that too, that this movie was a hodgepodge of genres that he wasn't trying to fit into no particular thing. But
dude, this is such a good point, and maybe this is the whole point. It felt a little bit rushed. A lot of the movie leaned into "if you know, you know," and maybe I don't know. Like maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
That part you're saying is a layup though, about the music part, because what they were saying was that basically Sammy was so good at what he was doing music wise, not just being talented, but being soulful and making music that could touch your soul. That he was digging into that spiritual realm, and that's what brought the vampires there. Like the vampires were around because of Sam. They were drawn to Sammy. Like he wanted Sammy's gift.
The guy said that, right? Like the main vampire said that. He said,
"Sammy,
I came here for you." Basically, is what he said. I heard your voice and it drew me to you.
Right. So, and when they had the first night at the juke joint, and he was really playing, they showed you the depth of how deep into the spirit he could go. So good to the point where he created a hodgepodge of realms of music, past, present, and future. He put my guy Future, the rap, the Joker from Memphis, had him joint, you know what I mean? Like he went into the future, the past, and the present. He had Asian culture, music, all type of stuff he pulled into the room because he was that deep in his bag as far as being talented music wise and into the spirit realm, so to speak, with his ability. So that part is pretty much a layup. Did I explain that?
I guess I just never felt like I understood Preacher Boy's, like it felt like he was low key the crux of the entire movie.
He was, yeah.
But I never really understood why, outside of the fact that he could play music. But it was like
they wanted, you know, he was the vampires were a hive mind. Like if he got one of you, he got all your memories, all your thoughts, all your abilities.
Right.
So once if he could get Preacher Boy to get bit, he would be able to, because he could play music too, but his music, he was talented, but his music couldn't go off into the realms that Preacher Boy did. Because he said, I want to bring bring memories back. People who are dead, I want to be able to see them again. And that's what he was saying, with that music, I can do that.
Let me ask you this.
Your music is a lot better than mine.
And this is me and you talking through it. You I said, let's talk about it on the podcast. I don't want to me and you have this private. It feels like to me they kind of rushed into the vampire portion of it because and it kind of fulfilled two purposes. It was a horror movie, which is kind of like when you see
that shit wasn't a horror movie.
Like, but it kind of scratched that surface, that itch of like, people love horror movies, but it was a black horror film. Like that was dope. Like that, I like that part of it. But it feels like to me, what the underlying theme of Sinners is that
black people are amazing as shit.
And
is what
white vampires will literally suck the blood, suck the talent, suck the inspiration of black musicians and black artists.
It told a lot of stories, and these are some of the things. I'll just highlight things about the movie that stood out to me. Number one, like I said, that movie made black people look amazing, in my opinion. Visually, like the optics, how they presented, the lighting, all the makeup, the wardrobe made us look incredible. Like the particular color of red in the hat, or the particular color of blue.
Smoke and Stack looked awesome. The
all
entire
the boys
time.
looked incredible, right?
Yeah.
But those type of things that we aesthetically looked amazing,
right?
And it showed how, like I said, non-jokingly, that musical history and black musical history are synonymous. Like we've had our hands in this genre they don't want us to touch, right? This Beyonce and country music. Country music has roots in black music, rock and roll,
blues. It's a Mississippi blues,
all these things, right? Yeah. And that part was amazing. It's just showing how all throughout history we've had our hands on so many things musically and creatively. I remember Kev on stage was saying this. He was like, even though it's black people in America who some of us came over here through slavery, and some of our ancestors got, were slaves, or whatever, that a lot of us don't know our heritage, but the music has always connected us, right?
Right.
We can go to Africa right now and a beat can drop and we all can, jump right into it. That part was amazing. The fact that this movie was asked the question, what would it be like if you introduce vampires to people who've never heard of vampires before? Like, we're talking about Jim Crow era America.
And all of a sudden they got all their talent,
Right. And the concept of vampires, like what the hell do you mean by what is a vampire? Like, that whole concept was crazy. Like, to see how that would happen in that time. And another important theme of the movie is they were in a time where the mistreatment of black people was so crazy that the concept of let me turn into a vampire felt like an appealing thing. Like, that shit kind of sound dope compared to, because he said, man, y'all will never be treated fairly. Y'all will never be treated the way that y'all should be. But if you're one of us, we're all the same. Like, we are the superior race at that point. If you become a vampire. And something else that movie pointed at, I can't remember where I saw this, but I saw this a couple of days ago, and it immediately made me think about sentence. In America, we paint integration as this thing where black people were done a favor. Like, hey, welcome to the party. Like, come join the dope white people stuff. Like, come be a part of America. Come. Hey, yo, you guys are welcome to join us now. But we were doing fine before integration. Like, we had our own shit going on, man. We had our own towns, communities, schools, businesses. Like, we were fine. Like, we had this thing figured out.
Whole banking systems, everything. Like,
exactly, bro.
The economic systems were flourishing, right?
And that movie showed that, like, black people found a way to exist without being invited to the party. Yeah. And when we were invited to the party, it may have done more harm than good.
Well, you get invited to the party. You get invited to the party, and there's just, if you want to call it culture vultures, if you want to call
vampires are there.
Culture vampires, right? Culture vampires, right?
Like, I get it. Take your whole gift for music. Just take it. Yeah.
Just take it.
Yeah.
You hear about like the way that the Mississippi Delta blues started came from like those slavery, Jim Crow time, those eras where it talks about the struggle, right? The struggle and the those kind of things. When it became integrated and other cultures started doing blues music, they started talking about their own struggle, and it was different. Like, it's a totally different kind of struggle, right?
Yeah.
Like, anyway, yeah.
Because, like, another thing too, man, you got to think about in that movie that stood out to me is that it shows you that the Irish people had white facing people had their own internal racism or just persecution that was going on. And he talked about how that guy was a musician. He's like, I was a musician, and I understand the spiritual realm of all this, and that we went through our thing as well, and with the Choctaw Indians and all that stuff. It got into a lot of the historical stuff, and that movie was not an anti-white people movie. It wasn't at all.
No, yeah,
but it was
a celebration. It was a celebration.
Yeah, it was it made black people look freaking amazing. Literally, it got into some of the spirituality things and the practices of black magic and voodoo, hoodoo, all those type of things. People have their opinions on those. I have my own opinion on that type of stuff. I don't really want to get into it now, but like, I wasn't offended by any of that type of stuff at all. And it just kind of shows you that as black people, man, we just had ways we went about doing things throughout time, and like the issues with the white lady that I had no clue had a drop of black in her. Didn't even know she was an adult, actually. Josh Allen's wife. Like,
Mary?
That whole thing, Mary. The whole thing of, I'm a white woman who's got, I'm 1/8 black. I'm 1/8 black or whatever. But my mother raised y'all black ass as her kids, because y'all's mama died, and my mama like literally nursed y'all from her breast. Y'all was getting my breast milk, and my mama nursed y'all and raised y'all as our own kids.
Right.
And y'all grew up to be these big gangster thugs, but y'all mama was a white woman for all intents and purposes. You know what I mean? And you had that whole thing going on, right? And then you had the brother that was married to the black lady. Yeah. And they had real trauma. They had a child that passed away, and that trauma caused them to not know how to process those emotions. And he went on to do his thing with organized crime and all that. Right. And you just think historically, every race was able to benefit from organized crime except for black people. They shut
So
our shit
wait,
down.
so
You know what I mean?
was it Annie and Stack or was it Annie and Smoke?
It was
Who?
Annie and Smoke were together. Stack.
So
It was
Annie
Stack
and
and the white
Smoke.
girl.
So
Yeah.
Annie and Smoke they were like married and they had a
Well,
baby that
whatever the equivalent of marriage was, they
right,
were.
they were
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Wow. I loved Annie. I thought Annie
Oh,
was
she's awesome in
awesome.
every
Dude,
movie.
she was
She's awesome
so
in every
cool,
movie she's
man.
in.
No,
And that's
E. Mason says he goes, let me find it. He said I missed the entire boy. I totally agree. Like
right.
I've
If you didn't get that, kid, you missed
yeah,
it for real.
no, 100%. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation because like
Right.
I love Ryan Coogler. I love Michael B. Jordan. I love that movie. Like I think the movie shot was beautiful.
Right.
I just didn't understand all of the
Right.
storylines that were trying to be brought in. And I wanted to have this conversation with you because I'm like,
And,
I want to understand because it was such a beautifully done movie, right?
and another thing that was introduced in that movie that was talked about in that movie was the misconception of especially in the black community, in the church community as well, is if you're a church musician, you don't need to be doing music in the world. And his dad said, you got to make a choice and all this type of stuff. He was like, no, I don't really have to make a choice, man. I'm a good person. God is with me. God was with me when I defeated these fucking vampires. You know what I mean? So and people like, and there are Christians who say, well, when he mocked Jesus, like, you know, he started giving the Lord's prayer and you know, the devil know the word too. And he said, he repeated it and it didn't do nothing to him, but like he ended up killing him. Like he ended up dying like shortly after that. You know what I mean?
So Stack and Mary, what was the point of the end? Like they stayed alive. They were vampires, obviously. What, like, how did they turn from like being in that moment immediately the night of like wanting to attack kill everybody, you know, bring everybody to their side?
Right.
It felt like
That's
they were
another thing.
It felt like they were being sent out at the end of the movie, kind of that they had been on a mission the entire time. Had they been protecting Preacher Boy the entire time while he was alive?
That's another part of the movie I thought was super dope, was his take on vampires. We've always been built to believe that vampirism comes with an innate desire to be evil and kill people, right?
Right.
And he was saying that vampirism it comes with these abilities and the hunger. It didn't even really say that they even needed blood to survive, like they had to kill to survive. But with the hive mind thing, once that guy, the Irish guy died, at that point, the white lady is the head vampire.
Oh, so okay. So once the Irish guy died, the Irish vampire died.
They were saying that was his own hurt. That was his own particular hurt and pain that was driving him to look at his ability, use his ability the way he was using it.
E. Mason said this. He wasn't white. He was Irish. That's an important caveat. He was also oppressed by whites. He chose assimilation over oppression. So that's part of his pain, right? Like
but his because of his pain, he went about things with the hand that he went about it with.
Right.
But those two, like, that's not our fight, bro. Like we have this ability, and it's a punishment to us. But we're not out here trying to kill people. I don't know if they even trying to turn people. I don't know if any of that happened. You know what I mean? Because they told what's the name, bro. If you want to live,
if you want to, we could do this right now, right?
We ain't finna sit. You invited us in and everything, but we ain't finna attack your ass. You know what I mean? And and they made that promise as well. But I thought that part of it was super dope. It showed that the what you do with the powers is you do have some will over. You're not this natural killing machine just because you suffer from the oppression of vampirism. But I thought the dopest part of the movie was that typically when you see a movie that takes place in that era, you leave out angry, you leave out mad, you live out sad. Like, man, we was fucked off back then. We really did treat us like shit, and they did. We saw that. But when that movie ended, I felt proud to be a black man. I felt excited about being black. Like, I think the way that he presented that, especially in that era of time, and the scene at the end, man, which had nothing to do with nothing, because I guarantee you they didn't have guns of that ability. And I doubt that anybody who fought in any war was that cold with the guns and shit, and Smoke was. But to see Smoke, I'm going to tell you a part you didn't pick up. Julia pointed this out. You saw Smoke was shaky at the end, right?
Yeah.
And he couldn't roll a cigarette.
Right.
Julia pointed this out. In the movie, Smoke was the smoker, but Stack was the roller. Whenever they smoked, Stack would always roll the cigarettes
and then
pass it to his brother.
Yeah.
So he probably rolled all the cigarettes. Like my brother, every time he get a new device, I got to go to my brother's house to show him how to go hook up his fucking TV or whatever, right? Yeah. But and that's what Stack did. He was the roller, and Smoke was, and he would roll for his brother. So when his brother was there, like shit, I don't even know what to do. Like he was struggling with that whole part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at that end scene that had nothing to do with nothing really. Like that end scene, and they made sure it happened in daylight where you could just see all the details. When he sat there and said, "I'm about to kill every last one of y'all," and he did, and he took his final breath and was reunited with his family.
Beautiful.
It ended so well. The movie it touched in so many genres. It was all over the place, but it was a beautiful hodgepodge of just thinking points in the movie, and I thought it was very well done. That is the only movie that I would watch over and over again. The last one was Get Out. Get Out was the last movie that I'll sit up and just watch over and over again. Another movie that was a kind of a hodgepodge of genres, and was not as what it presented. But
so last thing, it wasn't. I needed help understanding all of the storylines that were being brought in. It was such a good movie. I watched it. Here's what I promise you: I'm going to watch it again, and I'm going to watch it on a TV instead of
man. The fact that you watch it on the phone, bro, I really didn't want to have this conversation with you, bro. For real, but the fact, go watch it like an adult, bro, on the 80-inch. I know you got an 80-inch TV in there.
Yeah.
Go watch it on the big boy, man, for real.